Welcome to the Shadow Babies podcast, a podcast between two mom friends talking about all things related to romantasy, life, motherhood, the big questions, the little questions, and always a little bit of tea. Tonight we will talk about Fourth Wing, kicking off season 2 of our podcast. And no real spoilers to other universes, maybe some allusions to ACOTAR, a little bit of a spoiler into Iron Flame once or twice. Yay! I have missed you.
I know.
It's been a while.
And now it's like season 2.
Yes, let's call this season 2. Welcome to the Fourth Wing era. Or the Empyrean series era.
The Empyrean series. All the dragons.
Yes, as we prepare, we have literally 3 weeks left until Onyx Storm comes out.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's 3 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, so I have just finished rereading Fourth Wing,
Okay.
and right now you are already rereading Iron Flame.
Yes, I finished Fourth Wing at the end of November, and then I started Iron Flame.
Let's see. So Fourth Wing it was my first
Yes.
romantasy
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
I found it because I think of Reddit. I think I was reading Reddit, looking for a book suggestion, and I found it and got it on my Kindle.
Because you were searching inspired by Tamara Pierce lovers, right?
Yes, yes. And then it was fantastic, and it reminded me so much of kind of like Harry Potter. That's what I texted my sister. It's like, this is sort of like a Harry Potter book because it's like college and it's this old world, but it's also like sexy, which is so fun.
Yeah.
And there's dragons.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I just thought the pace was really exciting too.
Yeah, I liked the writing. I mean, I guess to contrast it with ACOTAR, which is like high fantasy and talks more about like magical beings as the people that we follow, main characters like Rhysand and Moore and Amren. Here we're like in the world of humans and how humans interact with magic, which is really cool. I thought that was like a fun contrast between the two. And I also thought the writing styles were very different, like where Sarah J. Maas is very like sweeping, descriptive, like really like brings you into the headspace and the physical space of the story. Not that Rebecca Yarros doesn't do that, but like I liked the more upfront kind of like young person speak, like Violet has a crude mouth, they talk immediately about like hooking up with people and having sex. Like it's just a younger, but mature audience that it's going towards. And it's a fun pace and a fun literary voice.
It reminded me a lot of college. I felt like she did a really good job with with Violet Sorrengail's voice.
Yes.
And how someone who might be in this situation might be feeling. Just like, oh, shit, I have to walk across this parapet. Hope I don't die.
Yeah.
Like, good luck me. Like, it was funny.
Yes. Like it was a great way of having a literal 21-year-old's point of view of this like life or death experience of someone who is her age, is incredibly intelligent for her age, but did not have to grow up too fast for her age, unlike Feyre, who's like 19, but needed to go from 14 to a fully grown person hunting and providing for her family. So very, very different in a good way. And I love how in Fourth Wing, Violet is already who she is. She's incredibly confident. She's sure of herself. She knows she's smart. She knows that even if she has these like physical limitations, she can figure it out in other ways. Whereas again, contrasting it to ACOTAR, just because it's like what we just wrapped up with, like Feyre is like, I have no idea who I am or what I'm good at or how to even believe in myself. And so I felt like Violet was a really, she was a breath of fresh air.
And then the very beginning of the book I thought was really cool, how you're just planted in her situation right away. She's supposed to join the scribe quadrant, and her mom is like, no, you have to go and be a soldier in this war college and walk across the scary thing, and you might die. And
good luck.
Yeah, a choice.
But you better not, because you're a Soren gal.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to do this. And her sister's like quickly trying to catch up and be like, oh my gosh, like this is, you were never supposed to do this.
Yes.
But she doesn't back down. She's like, well, I guess I have to now.
Yeah, she's brave. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that she's brave. And then our shadow daddy, the ultimate shadow daddy, for being 23, I love that he is like, I mean, he's clearly the most mature out of all of these other characters. It's like a freshman dating a senior, right? Like
totally.
Which is sort of like, oh gosh, that trope. But we've all seen it. I think we can all relate to it. We all know that feeling. So,
that's why I think Fourth Wing was so fun for me, because I wasn't familiar with any of these tropes.
Okay.
I was like brand new, so I was like, oh, okay, so a shadow daddy, great. I didn't even think that they were Xaden and her were going to hook up. Like,
did you think Dane was in?
Yes. Like that's how like brand new to this kind of genre I was. I think anyone who has read any of these books before would see him enter the picture and be like, oh, definitely that's going to be
the one.
Yeah, the love interest. And I was like so surprised.
Yeah, I love that for you. I love that you were surprised. I think, again, being a Buffy fan, it's like, oh yeah, who is she going to go for? Ooh, the big, scary, sexy man, not the actually good for her, like corn-fed Iowa boy who...
I was like, oh, she already has a boyfriend.
Right. Here he is. He's super cute in his little scruffy beard, and how honorable, you know.
And also she has some physical limitations that are brought up, and very cool that, she doesn't let anything kind of tear her down. It only kind of makes her stronger. It's like a superpower.
Yeah. Do you know that Violet her like physical limitations are modeled after Rebecca Yarros' physical limitations?
Yeah. I read I think I was like halfway through, and I was like, who is this author? And trying to find out more about Rebecca Yarros. And I read that. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce
she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Yeah. And so that's what Violet has. And then doesn't Rebecca Yarros' son have that as well?
Yeah. I think she has like 5 children. 1 or 2 of her children also have EDS. So it's kind of cool to have a technically disabled or like disadvantaged, physically disadvantaged main character. I especially like the fact that she refers to her pain tolerance and the way that she deals with her pain, that she can just kind of put it in a box and ignore it in order to like continue on with her day. I think that's a very common coping mechanism, especially, this is my like PT medical brain coming out, like these invisible diseases where somebody looks totally fine, but they have to appear normal and cope. And, process that Violet goes through of being like, okay, well, my shoulder is dislocated, but it's fine. I'm going to breathe through it and not pass out because I've been through this before. It's like, it makes her even more admirable. Like it makes her tough, like tougher than anybody. And even her mom pays her like a almost compliment that, she's like, Violet has experienced more pain than anybody I've ever known on a daily basis.
The mom is such an interesting character.
I have such theories about the mom.
Ooh.
I know Sam did too, about her being like a Venom, but I
love that theory.
I can't get behind it because of I can definitely see how like she could have gone that way and then tried to reverse it, or maybe did reverse it. Because at the end of the day, she is a mother. Like Violet talks about how there's mom and then there's General Sorengale. And I think you don't have 3 children willingly and, not know how to love them. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
And so I think her whole pushing Violet into the writer's quadrant and like kind of forcing her to go about it this way was her attempt to save her child, believing in her child, knowing that my kid is super capable. She's going to survive. And if she isn't, then at the very least, she'll die doing something honorable, versus what I think she already knows is that Colonel Markham, the head of the scribe quadrant, I think she already knows that he's manipulated the information and the history. And she's probably saving her daughter from being brainwashed and thinking the scribe way, as it is in the story presently, is the right way. I think she was kind of pushing her to actually find out the truth.
I always kind of felt like the mom truly believed in Violet, where she didn't think that she thought that she truly could, do all the things in Basgiath, and then also be exceptional and be an exceptional part of the story of this war.
Like Andarna says, like, she picked her for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? Like a scribe with a writer's heart, or something like that. I agree with you. I think her mom, it's almost like her mom knew she couldn't change the current path of what leadership was doing. Maybe General Malgren knows something, like was blackmailing her or had something over her head that she couldn't make the changes that she knew she needed to make to fight the Venin. Maybe it was a numbers thing, and she's like, well, it's not worth it for me to flip the script and try to fight Venin now. That's a huge paradigm shift, but if I can get my daughter on this path, maybe there's a way for it to get the movement going and fight the real evil from this way.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a situation that happened, because it just seems so interesting that as the book begins and Violet is about to have to, like 2 weeks before, what did she have? Like 2 weeks notice?
I think she had 6 months.
Oh, 6 months notice. Okay, that she's now switching. She has spent her whole life planning to be a scribe. Yep. And then, she now understands that from 6 months' time, she has to go into this war college. Like, was there an event that happened where the mom was like, oh, okay, like now I need to switch Violet? Like, why didn't she raise her in a way?
Why not sooner?
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Because, if she always, it seems as though the mom kind of always knew that this was going to happen, unless, there was something
that
drove
her
her
mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's that? It's like catalyst?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or an impetus.
Ooh, even better. Your words are. What did you call Sam? Your friend Sam.
The inimitable.
Inimitable. I had to Google that, and then I loved it. I loved that word. Yeah, and that is Sam.
Yeah,
so.
She is. She's the best. We have to mention her every episode.
Yes. And it's not like we're trying to mention her. She's just in the room with us.
She is our spirit animal. No. Yeah. No, she is one of our shadow babies as well.
We should just call her.
I know. Yeah. I know. I was telling her, like, we have to find a date where, like, all three of us can Zoom.
Yeah.
And we can do an episode that way. Maybe for Onyx Storm.
Onyx Storm, we have
can
to
do a 3-parter or 2-parter. I'm so excited.
The other thing I really liked about the beginning of this book is you, in like rapid succession, get to meet in the very beginning all like the main players.
Right.
Oh, hey, Dane, the boyfriend who I thought she was in love with.
Yeah.
And then Jack Barlow.
Yeah. Meet him right away.
Evil. Rhiannon, our friend.
Of her.
Yeah. And then Xaden. You get to meet Xaden right away.
Right. And Mira, obviously.
Yeah. And Mira, who we don't get to see for
I love her.
Yeah, me too. Well, kind of. Like.
No, not as big of a fan.
No, I like her as an older sister. And obviously she's great. Like, what's not to like?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like, I feel like I have a lot more respect for Brennan. Like Mira wasn't able to figure this out.
Right. Well, she's definitely the protector. Kind of, she is, not that she is not a leader, but it's almost like of the three, she is the person that you delegate a task to. She doesn't, I don't know. I don't know enough about her intelligence. She has to be smart, but like, it sounds like in terms of brilliance, Violet is number one, then Brennan, because he's supposed to be like an incredible
healer,
tactician, and he's a mender.
Yeah.
And then you have Mira, who can extend her ward. So she's like, she will always protect, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's the one that's like thinking of the full-on plan.
Yeah, and then it seems like she has a reputation, of being fantastic. Obviously.
Right. She's a badass on the battlefield.
Yeah, so people know that, okay, Violet is General Sorrengail's daughter, but then also you're Mira's sister.
Right, like, wow. Legendary.
Yeah. Violet crosses the parapet.
Yes.
Amazing job.
Almost cuts off Jack Barlow's balls.
Yes.
Good for her. She
could have almost done it. She should have done it.
Yeah.
Then we're doing the gauntlet.
The gauntlet.
Just to see if you could be able to mount a dragon.
Right. And
be worthy of a dragon.
Right. And then there's the whole walking in front of the dragons, the presentation day.
Okay, so there was a part when that is happening, and it's like weird, right? Like you're not supposed to look at the dragons. You're supposed to just chat.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like listening to what you're saying.
Right.
So she's talking to Rhiannon about like, oh, how's your sister and stuff like that. You're gonna be, I think someone in Rhiannon's family was pregnant, so they were just like
her
chatting.
Sister.
Yeah, her sister. So they were chatting about that. And then, do you remember the part where the two dragons come up and start like sniffing Violet?
Yeah. They smell Teen's scales.
Okay, so when I read it again, like Violet's the one who's like, oh, you must smell Teen's scales because Mira made her the special armor that like shrank down. I wondered if there was something else there. Because to me, it seems like Violet is kind of like special.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, and we don't know a lot about the dragons. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if there was something about her that they noticed right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I think the dragons are all definitely talking about her without her knowing it.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're talking about. Tyrion is very clearly like protecting her from something, or like keeping something fully from her, although he promised he wouldn't. So I'm like curious what we're going to learn. But yeah, that's a great point. I think the dragons all know of her and are intrigued by her.
Yeah. And then obviously it was very scary. I love how Rebecca Yarros continues to remind us that dragons are scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like this massive head and huge teeth and they're breathing fire and like incinerating people in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah. And then so when they come and kind of sniff her and she's just like, okay, like not worried.
Surrender.
Yeah, it's fine.
Be cool.
Yeah. It's like, that's pretty cool.
She's badass. Yeah. Like she doesn't even have to try. Her intuition is sound. Her intelligence is incredible. Like she's someone, fictionally that I admire for her, just her sense of self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so actual threshing is when, so they go into it. To me, I didn't read Hunger Games.
No.
I watched the movies, but it felt a little bit Hunger Games-ish to me.
Yes, it's definitely like every man for himself, figured out.
You could get killed by your
own person
in your team.
Yeah. I mean, it's a competition, right? Because they all go in knowing that there are fewer dragons than cadets willing to bond. So people are going to go out there and try to kill the strongest to take out competition, the weakest to take out, another threat to not only the ability to bond with a dragon, but like Jack Barlow and his cronies say, like Andarna is a liability, Violet is a liability. If these weaker, quote unquote, beings were to pair or mate, then it's like, what will that do to a wing that's out on the battle? So yeah, it's definitely.
It's such crazy
it's
logic.
Ruthless. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is crazy.
It's like dragons, they don't know, like they study dragons, but they don't know a ton about them socially or everything. So to imagine that dragons would just be fine with you coming and killing a dragon.
Yeah.
And that would be an impressive feat.
Exactly. It's like, especially one that they don't realize is a baby.
Right.
But it's like over and over again, Rebecca Yarros demonstrates characters that happen to be male, who have such a sense of hubris, right? Like this absolute sense of pride and rightness that like, oh, I get it more than these beings that are bigger, more powerful, and more intelligent than me. And and they continually pay the price, and yet people around them still don't learn, you know? It's very much human nature.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we get Xaden almost stepping forward.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Willing to break the rules to save her life.
Yeah, I love that Scale doesn't like a bully, you know? That, like, she probably was like, hello, do something. But I think he probably also stepped forward of his own free will. But I think that's why they are bonded, right? The dragon and Scale and Xaden, because even though they are both ruthless, they have a very strong moral compass of what is right to do and what is wrong to do and what is necessary to do in order to achieve certain means, you know?
Okay, so Violet bonds with both Andarna because she saves her.
Yes.
And then also Tarn.
Yes.
And Tarn says the moment he decided to bond with her was when he realized that Violet was going to save Andarna. Mm-hmm. And I loved that.
Yes.
And again, it felt like these dragons are kind of, or at least Tarn and Sigale, they're looking for people, humans who can, who are willing to break the rules,
right,
to save,
who have integrity.
Yes,
right,
yeah, who aren't just kind of following orders,
right,
head down,
right,
kind of situation.
I was even surprised that Violet argued with Taryn, you don't want me, I'm weak, and he's like, there are more definitions of what is strong. Get on my back, and it's Still, you don't understand what these bigger, wiser beings are telling you. Physical strength is not all there is. The dragons clearly value. It helps to be able to kick ass and to be able to fight, because that is in the end what they need to do. But you also have to be able to think critically and think compassionately and make choices that are hard and good. And that doesn't always mean the biggest and strongest person.
Right. I mean, Tarn says, I know who and what you are, Violet Sorrengail. Yeah. So what? Oh my gosh.
I want to know more about, I want more Tarn and I want more dragons, which I think we are going to get.
I hope we're going to get. Yeah. And I wonder too, how many dragons, are they all working together? Are they all on the same side?
No.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of conflict.
Yeah. Is there political conflict with the dragons as well? Yeah. And I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
And then how many, because Tarn is supposed to be the biggest and baddest.
He's the second biggest and baddest.
Who's the Is it Melgren?
Coda.
Oh, Coda.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that again?
Melgren's
dragon. Yeah. It's Melgren's dragon. Gross. But yes.
He is. He's creepy.
So is it just Sigale and Tarn and Andarna? Are they in their own political party?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I hope there's others.
I bet the green dragons are swayable because they're the most logical. But yeah, I think we're gonna learn. But I think, you hit the nail on the head that the dragons are not unified either.
Violet has paired with 2 dragons. Then they have to talk about it. And what was Dane weird at that point?
I think he was pick the little one because she'll never be big enough to fly.
Oh, that's right. He's always pushing her down.
Yes, making her small, not believing in her. And Xaden is cut that out. Believe in her. She's fully capable. Look at her.
Yeah, the biggest, baddest dragon picked her.
Yes, that has to say something. I don't know why you guys are still not getting this.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This big, bad dragon picked her, not the biggest, baddest.
Yeah.
Second biggest.
But who knows?
Yeah.
You don't have to be the big. Clearly, you don't have to be the biggest to be the most dominant. Maybe Coda and Taryn will duke it out.
Yeah. Okay, so then she gets both, and then Jack Barlow comes back.
Oh no! It's not Jack Barlow, because he's in the infirmary. It's Oren.
Yes,
the other guy.
Yeah, and his team, and she's about to get killed, and Xaden's running, and Tarn's running,
and Darna stops time.
Yeah.
Which
I think is so funny. Okay, so the whole second signet theories, I feel like we have to touch on this because it's all anyone talks about, I feel like on Reddit.
Right. We are still confused, but again, I'm very clear on what I think is happening.
Exactly, because you said Rebecca Yarros has said, oh, I thought this was obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a second signet, and you guys just haven't picked up on it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, stop time.
Yeah.
Be in control of time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
I mean, I feel like that's a great theory because it seems like it's true. But is it that when Andarna goes through adolescence, she shifts and things change?
That's what I'm unclear about, and it might be explained better, but I can't remember as well. That like the Feathertail gift may not be the grown, mature gift. But then you have to be careful because Feathertails can give the gift directly to the human before they're fully mature.
And that would hurt the Feathertail? Like hurt the dragon?
Yeah. But Andarna seems fine. Other than the whole, like, her growing, like, the dreamless sleep and all of that got messed up with her wing development. But
yeah, like can't fly.
Do you really think she won't be able to fly?
Ooh, I love that you're thinking she might. Well,
I believe in her.
I hope so. Or I feel like she could be really helpful in other ways, especially because wasn't it that the Venom need to be killed hand to hand? So you can't fly and shoot them with fire.
Right. They are not killed by fire. You have to stab them directly with
the specific dagger,
right,
with the stone. Okay. I mean, maybe there's some kind of ground game that Andarna's going to be the best at.
Well, I think there's also like a hatching ground of hers that we're going to find out about. Like she talks about when I start my own den, when I, have my own group. So I don't think she's the last iridescent dragon. I don't know if she's actually iridescent in terms of her color.
The last of her kind, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. After Violet's attack is when we get more Dane being the worst. I think at this point in reading it, I realized he was not going to be on game. Oh, when did he? Oh, he kisses her with the dragons.
Yes.
Like right after she bonds with Taryn and Andarna, and then he kisses her, which I thought was so lame. Like, oh, you have to wait and have this external validation that, now you're seeing with your own two eyes that she did bond with a dragon. You didn't believe in her until then.
Right. And so now you try to claim her.
Now you're going to kiss her. Yeah. And she's like, this is gross.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Everything I thought I wanted, I don't.
Yeah. No, thank you. Mm-hmm. But then there's the trial and they call out Amber.
Mm-hmm. Well, Xaden like stands up for her and is like, this is what happened.
Yeah. It was she's a wing leader also. Mm-hmm. And that's why it was so bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then this whole trial in front of everyone and then they have to like kill Amber, which is like kind of awkward.
Yeah. Tough for Dane to kind of be like, oh, because then Taryn like gives them all a vision of what happened. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's like Dane is arguing. Violet's like, I'm telling the truth.
And Dane's like, give me your face.
Yes. She's like, don't touch me. That's scary. He touches her face a lot. So I wonder if that was the first time he ever read her mind, her recent memories, I mean, or if he had done it before.
I feel like he probably does it all the time.
What a loser.
Yeah. Like she was so offended by it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he is maybe thinking like, we're friends. Of course she would share her memories with me. We're so close.
She tells me everything.
Yeah.
I do love that Xaden just kind of is like, you are going to figure it out on your own. And it's not going to feel good, but I'm not going to tell you. You're not going to listen to me. So here we are. Now you make your own choice.
Yeah.
I admire that about him. Tangentially, I do think a lot about like, when you observe a person and you're like, oh, this is not a good pattern. Or like, I'm seeing something that I don't think you're seeing about your behavior or your situation or your relationship. And I have learned over the years to just say nothing. But I sometimes wish there was a way to communicate this observation to the person without it like creating tension between me and the person, right? Because it's like, I want to tell you something that I don't think you're ready to hear. But if you don't hear this, I know that I'm projecting, but I'm afraid of this for you. I've been in that situation where I have told people things and it's only like burned me. And so have you ever been in that situation, and do you speak up or do you just let kind of Xaden-esque do you just like let the person figure it out for themselves?
Like, are you saying Xaden should have said to Violet, this is a weird relationship you and Dane have?
Or like, you are trusting him more than you should, and you're not taking into consideration that he is showing you who he is now. He is someone who will put the rules in the codex above all else, regardless of your lifelong friendship with him. And anytime he touches you, it puts you at risk for him reading your recent memories and violating your privacy, not giving you the choice to tell him information, and then potentially betraying you because over and over again, he's proven to you and shown you that he will put you below his beloved rules. Like, I think Xaden has tried to demonstrate it to her over and over again and has alluded and said to her, like, you're going to figure it out. You're going to see it, but I'm not stepping in. And I'm just like applying that to real life and to, my experience. Like, it really doesn't serve either person, the person who's well-intended and wants to share what they're seeing, and it doesn't serve the person who's experiencing the thing where they will eventually get burned. And so I guess my question to you is like, have you been in that situation before? And then is there ever the right opportunity, the right moment, or the right way to be like, intervention, this is not good?
Oh, well, I mean, I think in the instance of the Xaden, Dane, and Violet, like this was very dangerous for Xaden because he had secrets that were huge. Right. And if Dane finds out about them from Violet, it puts so many people at risk, and like the whole rebellion basically at risk. So it would be hugely scary for Xaden if this worked out in this way, and then for like hundreds of thousands of villagers, everyone they're trying to save, everything they're trying to do. So to that point, it feels like Xaden could have doubled down a little bit and like really spelled it out for Violet and been like, his signet, he likes to cup your face.
Yeah. And you are smart. You should put this together. Right?
Yeah. And you should. And it is kind of late in the game when Xaden does like really spell it out, and he's like, when was the last time Dane touched you? And it's like right before they're doing their final war games, like before they get sent away. So I feel like that would be for Xaden. I feel like he could have understood the dynamics a little bit more. Like obviously Violet doesn't know what's going on, and Xaden has all of these things to hide, and Dane is somebody who is trying to find them out and then also get Xaden in trouble. So I guess, Xaden should have been more on top of that. I have not been in a situation, I feel like, where me calling out somebody else's relationship would have hurt. Well, I mean, you use the word intervention, and I feel like there definitely have been instances where I feel like people have been like using drugs or alcohol or something, and I call that out.
Right.
I have had moments of that in my life, and I think that's because you're thinking about like the safety of your friends and others.
That I feel like drugs, alcohol, self-harm is a little bit more like you can call that out and the person is like, yes, this is a problem. But when it's something like
like someone else's relationship,
whether it's relationship, because you don't want to insert yourself between two people, learn that the hard way. But also if it's like another person's pattern, like if you're observing somebody and they're struggling with something, I don't feel like I can make a good enough concrete example right now, but if someone comes to you with a problem and you know them really well, and also that their problem is tied to a behavior or a consistent type of choice that they make, I have felt like it's really hard to call out that behavior because it's like, it's a little bit of psychoanalysis. It's a little bit of like assuming some things. It's also like, you know, you're clearly an external person. You're not in that person's head. But sometimes as an outsider, you can see things a little bit more objectively.
Yeah, I think it's so hard to...
I know this is a big tangent. I'm sorry, but...
No, because you like, it's hard to say something like that because you don't have all the information. You have your perception and also the things that they're telling you. So it's like their perception given to you and then your perception. So yeah, I think it is really difficult. And also, yeah, I think that if I have ever done anything like that, it would have been when I was a lot younger and like more free with my words.
Yes.
I mean, I think feedback is a gift, and sharing, being able to be like, what is it? The radical candor with,
I've never heard of that. Like I like that term.
It's like a Silicon Valley management philosophy. There's like a whole book about it.
Oh boy.
But yeah, the more you can be open and encourage openness in a team and open communication, it's supposed to be beneficial for everybody.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
like
so
vulnerability begets vulnerability.
100%. Yeah, and then, you know, no one's afraid, especially like, you know, if you're like working through like a tech security issue, and someone's afraid to speak up about, you know, something that they see that could be like a vulnerability because you want to get the project out or something, that is, you know, could create a bad environment. So you need to create an environment where anyone can say anything, and feel safe and comfortable. So yeah, what is that called? Psychological safety, where you're not going to kind of get burned by.
But that's workplace. And in like a romantic relationship, I think there's enough. I like that term, radical candor. Like you're obviously committed to one person and you're willing to like get at that very gritty level to be like, we have to get real here.
And you're both in it. Like that would be Violet and Dane having like the conversation because like it's them. Right. But then the Xaden POV.
Can't tell them to have that conversation, right?
Yeah, I mean, but then as he gets closer to Violet, I think it would make sense. That would be kind of like, I guess if like Andrew or Dave were giving us feedback about like our friendship or something, you know?
Yeah.
Which would be weird.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when Andrew would be like, he would, I think he's said this to you in person before. I don't know how much you've actually retained it, but when we were first hanging out, he'd be like, you two are like two Disney princesses, like talking to each other. Like there's just this like, la 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 la, like sweetness to everything that you say. And you're both just so like he's sharing his perception of us. Right. And I wouldn't get offended, but I'd be like, I don't think we're just two Disney princesses. I think we're like two moms, like trying to figure it out in the same place in like our lives and like choosing to be friends with each other and trying to get to know each other in our own way while we're also both like exhausted and potentially touched out and overstimulated and thinking of 39 other things while we're simultaneously trying to have a conversation. So yeah, it might come off as us being like, you know, but
yeah, and that's Andrew's perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is mostly just good for me in terms of my own evolution of thinking. So this is helpful.
I wonder though, like, I mean, I said like my workplace examples, but then like for your workplace, like I feel like this would happen quite a bit where patients might come to you repeatedly with the same problem. And you're like, well, I know the answer.
Yes. The number of times I tell patients, I have grown up a lot as a clinician to be like, this is how I can help you. This is your problem. You do not have to take this information, but here it is. And then you wait, you know, and people can get kind of floored by that. You know, they're either expected to be told what they want to hear, be given an easier choice, or, you know, be given like a cure. And it's like, no, I am not a magical healer. My job is to give you tools to teach yourself how to take care of yourself.
That must be so hard in the age of everyone being like, I would like a pill
Yes.
to fix this problem.
Yeah. How can surgery help me?
Yes. You have to do these small exercises every day.
Or, you have to like regulate your nervous system. You have to retrain how your brain tucks to your body. You have to slow down.
Yeah.
And that's really hard, especially for people in the Northeast.
Oh, yeah. You must get that too.
But I love it. I love being able to tell people this stuff all day. And having that, patient clinician relationship, because it is very different. Again, I'm talking out loud, and this is more, I'm being selfish here in like exploring some like intellectual evolution on my part, but it's like you kind of have to have a certain formality to be so blunt, kindly.
But sometimes that's what you need. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you do need somebody to just lay it out for you and not kind of
sugarcoat it.
Yeah, run around in circles, like drop hints. Like I all the time am like asking Dave, like, oh, do you think this text is good? Or do you think the way I'm like phrasing this is right? And it's like so good to like have him directly respond to me instead of being like, well, I think, or sure, sounds good.
Whatever you think.
Exactly. Like I need somebody who can like
check me on this.
Exactly. So feedback it's great.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. That was a...
No, I mean, if Xaden had given Violet something blunt, we wouldn't be in the situation where Liam is dead.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. There's a lot of lessons that needed to be learned. A lot of this is like plot movement, Veronica. Like not everybody has to be an evolved version of themselves.
They're 21
and 23. Like this is
Xaden always was weird about Dane. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he knew something.
Because he can read intentions.
Yes. Violet's getting so bummed out because everyone's signets are happening. And hers isn't. And then it happens during war games.
Yeah.
They're doing some kind of like capture the flag egg hunt.
Yes. Although technically her signet comes out earlier, remember?
Oh yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, that was hot.
That was hot. Seems like smoking pot outside. And
very college.
Yes. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
It's
and
great.
He's like just like in the shadows and they're like, feeling the vibes from Tarn and Sgal.
Yes. Love it. It's great. It's a great, again, plot mover to get some spicy stuff happening.
Yeah, this is why he's my favorite boyfriend.
Tell me more.
Well, no, because it just does feel so college, and it like definitely brings you back to like being outside on campus in the rain, and there's your hot like crush over there.
It's romantic.
Yeah. Versus this is my fairy boyfriend with wings.
And he is teaching me how to find myself by taking me out onto a mountain and trying out my powers. I
mean, I love them all, but this one definitely brought me in more.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, like humans relating with other humans, and they're young, and they're kind of figuring it out together. Like, it's a little bit more relatable of like a 21-year-old being kind of guided by a 23-year-old versus an, 20-year-old being guided by a 537-year-old.
Right, yeah.
Same vibe. Slightly different dynamic. Yeah, I like, and it's so different from any of my high school or college experiences. So when I read it, I'm like totally swept up in it, but I'm not like, oh, remember in college? Like, no, that didn't happen to me, but it's great to read and it's fun. Anyway, I'm sorry. Again, I derailed you. Her signet is actually wielded on purpose during war games.
Right. Yeah. Like lightning didn't just happen around her. It went out after Jack Barlow. Poor Liam.
I know.
He's supposed to be the strongest. And he's like getting so beat up. And he's so nice. Him. I know. Yeah. Okay, but there was one thing that stood out to me so much after this. And did you see this theory about that Dane's being mind controlled by the Venom?
No.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised because of my theory about his dad, but
Okay, yes. I thought you knew about this theory when you mentioned that dad theory. Okay, so I just heard, I think it was on Instagram, I heard a theory that Dane is being mind controlled by Venin. We know already that Venin are able to infiltrate Basgiath. Venin are coming in, and now they're able to mind control Dane. And that is the theory. And I just think it's so funny because at one point Violet says Dane's being, days are going by, Dane's being so weird. Yeah. Sometimes he's aloof and I don't really talk to him, and other times he's like the old Dane. And so that to me feels like sometimes he's being mind controlled and sometimes he's not, because she's seeing this different personality.
Right.
And then so when something like this happens, and so Violet gets her fantastic signet that is so powerful, that is obviously going to be really helpful to their whole war effort. And then Dane comes over to her and goes, "You don't have to use that again." Like, that is what he says to her.
He is such a fool. Yes.
He's like, "Don't you feel bad you killed Jack Barlow? You don't have to feel that way again. You don't have to use this."
Yeah.
And it's like, that is what a Venin would say.
Yeah, he is being manipulated to manipulate her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was so funny because I had heard about this theory and then I read that and I was like, wow. Like,
although how shitty would it be? Excuse me. How crappy would it be if it's like, oh, he's not being mind controlled. He's just.
That's just
who he is.
But the whole, like, because you do get so disappointed in him when he, like, doesn't believe in Violet and he's like, "Let's get you out of the writer's quarters and you have to be a scribe." And it's like, well, that's what a Venin would say if they knew how powerful, like, there is something about Violet.
Oh, yeah, they know about her, too.
Yeah.
And have you heard that whole theory that she is part Venin? That her mother was, like...
got sick when she was pregnant?
Yes, but that was actually, like, Veninism.
Ooh.
And so now Violet has, although she is not a Venin, she has like some qualities of a Venin in her.
That makes sense. Did you, what was that HBO show? And it's got Pedro Pascal and it's about zombies.
I don't know.
Oh my God. It's a video game that turned into an HBO series.
I am so living under a rock when it comes to like shows and movies. Like, we have one TV, Emma, and it's in our basement.
Okay, it's called The Last of Us.
Okay. I've heard of it, but I have no concept of what it is.
Okay, so in The Last of Us, the main character girl is immune to zombies because her mom was giving birth to her, and I think her mom got bit by a zombie, and then she still had like the umbilical cord, so she like is now immune to
Okay.
So that kind of
I see.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, there's totally how could this be? How could it be? I mean, Rebecca Yarros has said like Violet's hair is silver for a reason.
Has Rebecca Yarros said that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Tarn always calls her Silver One. He doesn't call her name ever, really.
Maybe there's like a prophecy.
Maybe like Harry Potter.
Like maybe she's the one who was promised.
Well, I really think there's something special about Violet. Yeah, that the dragons all know, that maybe even Xaden knows a little bit and he just hasn't like divulged.
Or that he has a theory. I mean, he's crazy smart too. He probably has a theory about all of it, and he's probably right. But again, he may also care about her and love her so much that he doesn't want to share that yet. Again, it's kind of this, he's like staying out of it. I'm learning many lessons here. Just stay out of it, Riley.
Okay, so like we were talking about tropes. I feel like miscommunication is like a common trope, which is just like frustrating.
It is annoying.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not something I really like reading.
Yeah,
but it does seem like there's a lot of miscommunication in that they have to keep so many things secret.
There are a lot of lies by omission.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay. I do find it annoying too. Like, I cannot remember. There was something that I was reading that I was like, come on. Like, if you guys literally just had one conversation, this would not be a problem. But it's almost like you're intentionally not having a conversation and keeping the problem alive. And like, when it comes to Xaden, I understand him being aloof. It's annoying, and Violet is understandably annoyed. But it's also because he has such trouble being vulnerable in spite of love. He's in a lot of conflict, that guy, you know?
He also has to keep so many things secret because he has is it 119 or?
117.
Yeah. All those people.
All of the children of the...
Yeah, relying on him. Mm-hmm. He's holding, is it Athabine? What's his house?
Ryerson house.
Yeah.
You mean Tyrandor?
Yeah.
He's like keeping the rebuild of Tyrandor a secret.
Exactly, like that.
He has a lot of secrets. He's secretly providing weapons to the Griffins.
Yes.
He's in correspondence with the Vice Viscount of Paramoyel.
I can't believe he just like never lets it slip that Brennan's alive.
Oh my gosh. I mean, his self-control is crazy.
I cannot imagine. Like, and not a glimmer. Mm-mm. And she's so sad. And I think she talks about Brennan. And he
just has to lock it up.
It's crazy. Violet's mom is very connected to Xaden.
She's the one who did all those cuts.
Yeah, and then also made the deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's something else there too. Yeah. Where she's like looking out for Xaden. I wonder if she knew that Fenrir Orson
he was telling the truth.
He was telling the truth.
They all know he was telling. Everybody in leadership knows he was telling the truth.
Yeah, they just thought it was more beneficial to keep it going.
That's why there's that quote in there, "You're all cowards." Those
yeah,
last
I loved that.
I love that too.
Yeah, redacted.
Yes. I am okay. I've been like reading those little bits above the chapters more intently, and I'm like kind of terrified that everybody's dead. At the end. Because it's like, you know, like, how is it worded? It's like, recovered correspondence between Xaden and Ryerson to Violet Sorengale. And I'm like, recovered? Why? Why is it recovered? Why is it not just correspondence between? Why?
That is correct. I mean,
because even in the beginning, it's like, these are all events that happened, but, you know, and this is recorded by Jacinia Neilwart.
Yes, Jacinia.
And I'm like, okay, is everybody dead? And she's the only survivor? Like, what is this?
It does feel like that.
I'm scared.
Oh, no. I know. I don't like that.
I know. Isn't that terrible? But I'm like, okay, if they're going to all die, at least let them die together. Let them fight the good fight.
Or maybe they, like, leave and escape.
Maybe they do, like, what are their names?
You mean
Drakan and Miriam?
Yeah,
just like
go to their island.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
Well, we were supposed to, I feel like an Onyx Storm teaser thing is that we're going to go to expand the map and go to new places. So
that's cool. I've been trying not to read any of the excerpts out there because then my brain goes to way too many things and I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
I agree. I can't believe it's 3 weeks. I'm so excited. Well, then we're just at the end.
I know, Athabine.
Yeah.
Final War Games.
So Dane basically says goodbye to Violet.
Yes. And I love how he's like, I didn't mean like goodbye forever.
Yes,
like,
you did.
Come on. Come on.
I'll miss you, Violet.
Yeah. I'll miss you. It's like, what's the word? Cryptic.
Yeah, very cryptic.
Super cryptic. But yeah.
Won't miss you, Xaden. Goodbye to your death.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Horrible. Horrible, horrible.
It was crazy, too. So when I first read it, I was like, Wyvern? What is this? Like, there's just like one sentence that's describing it. It's a dragon with 2 feet instead of 4 feet. Yeah. Like, I missed that. So I was like, Wyvern and Venom? Like, what are these things?
Right.
But it was really crazy when... So Violet's fighting that main Venom on top of Tarn.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, and she says... I mean, it's like she's like playing with her. She's like, she's so fast. I'm never going to be able to.
She's already like understanding my fighting strategy.
Yeah, she like hits her under the dragon scales, so she like knows.
Yeah,
where to get her. Weaknesses. And then she said, like, you can control the sky, but you don't even know how to use it. Yeah. So like, what does that mean? Like,
I think they want to take her.
Because didn't they want to bring her to the that Venom girl is like, I'll bring you to my sage.
Yeah, I think they want to take her and make her Venom because she's so powerful.
So powerful. Okay, it's recording. Okay, sorry about that. The baby woke up.
It happens, mom life.
What happened? What were we talking about? So we're at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, and the crazy Venom who's on top of Tarn.
That it was like kind of weird that she stabbed Violet with a poison that would have killed her when it probably made sense to like take her.
Do you think that was like it was meant to like disarm and then
they probably have the antidote?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was a crazy poison.
Yeah.
And it kind of poetic because Violet was the poison master from the beginning.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, against everyone when she was like training. And then of course like a Venom has poison at her.
Great point. Wow. Emma, you are coming in hot with these good takes.
Well, I just I think I was at like 98% last night. I think I have 3 minutes left of the book actually. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I know the last like big zinger is that Brennan's the healer.
Right. Does it end at like he's alive, or does it end at them going back to the college?
Yeah. I think the way it ends is that she just sees that it's Brennan. Oh yeah. It ends. That definitely wasn't an accident, little sister, he says from the doorway. You weren't healed, you were mended. Brennan, she stares at her brother in open mouth shock because it's Xaden's POV is this last chapter.
Oh.
Brennan just grins and opens his arms. Welcome to the revolution, Violet.
And that's the end.
That's the end.
Okay.
And that's crazy.
That's a major cliffhanger. I forgot.
Yeah. Oh, wait. How long did you have before Iron Flame came out?
Are you a spider person?
Oh, is there a spider?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to remove him fully?
Please.
Yes.
Sorry. He's far away, but I didn't know if you were freaked out by them. Is he just dead?
I'm gonna get the vacuum.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, wait. When did you read Iron Flame, or when did you read Fourth Wing and had to wait for Iron Flame?
I only waited like a couple weeks. It was already, I read it in July, the July that Iron Flame came out. And then I was like, as I was reading Fourth Wing, I was like, I'm not going to get the second one. I don't know. I was being like weird with myself as I was starting Fourth Wing. And then I got into it very quickly. And I was like, I am obviously ordering the second one. So I read them essentially back to back.
Yeah, I think I had a month in between. I can see where it would be, because I started with Fourth Wing and then went to Sarah J. Maas, and I feel like if I had gone the other way, I might have felt like that too.
I was just being annoying, like just get over it and give it a try,
I mean, I thought the Brennan thing was so crazy. Such a big cliffhanger. Coming back from the dead. Yeah. That's your brother. Yeah. There's a revolution that he's a part of. He's with Xaden.
Oh my God.
Xaden knew.
You're in Tyrandor.
Yeah.
Ryerson House is not complete ashes. Like
the end also, as I'm like skimming over to get to that Brennan quote, I don't know, Violet being still so mad at Xaden at that point. Like, I can see being mad up until you actually see the real Venom and kind of understand.
Right.
Because she's so mad that he is dealing with the Griffins and the Flyers. Like, obviously that would be like a huge mindfuck because your whole life you've been raised in this. You're in war college against it. And he's like dealing with the enemy. But
I think it's because, again, she's like, she may be incredibly smart, but she's still 21 and like hasn't had to grow up and like think of other people's perspectives or consider. She just hasn't really had to consider much outside of herself. So I think being in her first ever relationship, having these big feelings, feeling betrayed, feeling like completely thrown that these fairy tales are real, almost dying, like you would hope that she would be able to like gain some perspective and put the like emotional whatever she has with Xaden aside, but like girl knows how to hold a grudge.
It's like the whole second book is a grudge.
I know. It's I'm reading it and I'm like, get over it.
Exactly. But like, it's not just you and Xaden and the fact that Xaden didn't pull you into like a small revolution. It's a major revolution.
Yes. Yeah. It is literally impacting
kingdoms.
The whole world. Your whole world. Like slow down and consider that. Like,
and he just met you for like a semester.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know what the dragons know about the humans. Like, I want to know their side of the story, which I think we're going to get. But not that I disagree fully with Sam's idea or theory that her mom is a Venin. I just think, again, that that Violet's mom is a mother to her core. She's a general, but like, again, you don't choose to have 3 children and be like, no, yeah, well, it's something you do. As I'm also the general of the entire army. Like, no big deal. Like, there is something about becoming a mother that was incredibly important to her. And this is like bringing me back to this theory of like some kind of prophecy, that maybe there is something to be said about a rider and a scribe falling in love, coming together to make a baby who has the heart of a rider and the mind of a scribe. Like, maybe this is all fulfilling some sort of prophecy, or that it was all planned as a means to defeat the Venin.
It speaks so much when Violet compares herself constantly to her siblings. And I don't thinks that, she thinks as highly of herself as she does her siblings, when in fact it seems like she is the key.
I think it's because, she's like been told that she's physically weak and all that matters is physical strength. And the truth is, I think they've all been gaslighting her.
Yeah. I mean, I love an underdog story. I think you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I definitely think that there is something about Violet's mom and contact with or experience with Veninism or a Venin. But my theory is that like Dane's dad is a Venin, and he has been trying to manipulate or infiltrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was Dane's dad's signet?
I don't remember.
I think that goes along a little bit into this theory that he might be the one who's mind controlling Dane. And then if he's a Venin, that makes sense too. It's fun. Like,
yes,
I love all these theories.
Fun.
Yeah, I like the fandom.
I love the fan art too.
I know.
Although future episode, I want to talk about this like male fan art. Everybody looks like a very European.
Yeah, and Xaden's not.
No.
Yeah, and
neither is Rhysand.
Right.
Or Cashin or Azrael.
Exactly.
Like, they're not white people who happen to have nice tans.
Right. Yeah.
They're like mixed babies.
Yeah.
Or not. Or maybe they're fully brown. Love it all. Give me the rainbow.
Yeah. I hope that, I think obviously Rebecca Yarros is going to be very involved in that show.
Oh.
So I'm excited when they start like casting people.
I'm probably going to be stubborn again and not.
Oh, you hate this
show.
Yeah.
I don't want I have such a like strong visual of things, and I just, it never fails to kind of let me down. Unless I started with the show first. Like, I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But it's because I never read the books. I didn't like create that world in my head already.
Oh, did you listen to that podcast I sent you? The Journal did a thing on Book Talk.
Not yet.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Tell me what it's about.
Okay, I thought it was so interesting. So the Journal just does like 20-minute podcasts about like news. And then this was so interesting because it was just like a deep dive into Book Talk and how publishers are watching like TikTok and Instagram, Bookstagram and stuff like that, and kind of taking note of what readers like, and then kind of making books happen from them, or searching for indie authors who could be the next ACOTAR or whatever. And they interviewed Penn Cole.
Oh.
Did you read Spark of the Everflame?
No, I interestingly have Glow of the Everflame and Ember of the Everflame, but I have not been able to get my hands on Spark.
Is that the first one?
That's the first one.
Have you read the other ones?
No, because so I tried ordering 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 and 2 went out of print because then they did a big reprint. So I was only able to get 3, and then my cousin actually gave me Glow of the Everflame for Christmas, but she didn't realize that was book 2.
Oh, funny. Oh, cute.
So
well, that's nice. I mean, you have them waiting for you.
I have them waiting.
We just need
the first
one. I mean, if Barnes & Noble wants to sponsor this podcast, we love Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Bringing the kids there is just a whole event.
I love bookstores, period.
I know.
I know.
Do you ever go to the one in our town? Yeah.
The one in our town. Yes, I do.
I love that we have a little independent bookstore in our town.
Sweet.
It's so sweet.
I know. I love bookstores. May they never ever go extinct.
I know. I just love that Barnes & Noble still exists when everyone's buying things on Amazon. And
I know.
I'm like the worst because I always do the Kindle and things like that. But just going in there, and it just makes you so happy.
It does. We love to be surrounded by books. It's proof. It's physical proof that we do things and know things and think about things and feel things. We don't know.
I mean, just looking at a book, I feel like can make you happy.
Words on a page.
Yeah.
And everything matters. Like, I love the feel of a book. I love the type of paper they use. I'm interested in the print.
The font.
The artwork that they include.
I'm a big font person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which kind of brings us, I feel like, to our little mugs.
Our mugs. Oh my gosh, Emma, I'm obsessed. I want to collect them all.
Yeah, so lately on our Instagram, we've been doing a little mocktail series, which has been fun and funny. I love a mocktail. So, yeah, we made these fun diner mugs.
And then we birthed this idea of mugs with the terms of endearment, the names.
Yeah, the sweet names.
The sweet names, where the main male characters that we love, what they call their ladies. Darling, Sweetheart, that's from Crescent City. Fireheart, Throne of Glass.
We didn't make a violence mug.
We didn't.
But I thought about it.
I know.
Especially for this.
That would be kind of good. Maybe we could think of something else for them. Maybe something will come.
Silver one.
But that would be from Taryn.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe something else will come.
We should definitely do a moonbeam.
When the moon hatched.
When the moon hatched.
Yeah,
no,
but moonbeam.
Moonbeam. If you too are salivating for the arrival of Onyx Storm, reach out to us at shadowbabiespodcast@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at shadowbabiespodcast.